For many years, I've been working in communities that are recovering from natural disasters here in Australia right now, in the States quite a lot. And one of the reasons I've been so fascinated by disasters is what it teaches us about human capacity. So as leaders, as we're now really dealing with uncertainty and changes in plans and sudden shifts in the environment, I think what we can learn about human capacity from times of disaster is really of fundamental importance to us. For example, when there is a disaster, it's as if the veil is ripped off and people don't respond well if they need to pull out a procedure manual and say, okay, now what do I do? What we see in times of disaster, such as floods or fires, is instantaneous action on the part of people who really care. They want to help, they want to rescue, they want to save, whether it's people or property or pets or whatever. But we see people stepping forward in a way with their generosity and their instantaneous creativity, with their obvious compassion, because what you also see in disasters is how even strangers rush in to help people they don't know. I mean, they'll travel across the country in many cases, or sometimes around the world, because they just want to be of service. So it's tapping into that potential that's in all of us that I'm really interested in discovering how to do that in an organizational setting. I once had a group of senior executives who had been involved in a natural disaster want to reflect on why are we at our best in the worst circumstances and why are we at our worst in the best circumstances. And of course what they discovered, which is the generalizable lesson here, is that when people have clarity of purpose, and these executives also said to me, you know, there's no risk in a disaster, it's already a disaster. So you have that wide open space of just do something, and if it doesn't work, let it go, don't assign blame, just, you know, find something else that will work. So it's that moment of spontaneous creativity that's really focused by the purpose at hand that is so obvious in a disaster. And now then we take that and we shift to our bureaucratic organizations and the boxes we put people in and the job descriptions we give people in the policy and procedure manuals, and we expect to engage people in these very rigid, limiting structures, and it's just not possible. So my basic thesis here is that when we have to deal with fast-changing, rapidly shifting environments with occasional crises that become more frequent these days, we really need to call on human potential, and we need to call on the potential of everyone. Quite sadly, we're actually approaching these high-risk crisis situations from a very different perspective that I think is incredibly damaging. We're choosing that when it's a high-risk situation, it's the job of the leadership team to take back all control and to move decision-making up the organization rather than down. You know, in a disaster, there isn't anyone giving orders. There's people spontaneously figuring out what works. And in a general organization, we don't need more control. What we need is more distributed leadership. We need everyone to feel engaged, to be creative, and to realize that take risks, that's the source of innovation. You know, work together because we need to be in good teams when we're going through tough times. But the trend right now is towards a style of leadership as hero, command and control. I'm in charge, I'll tell you what to do. Here are the orders, here's your job description, here's the policy shift, here's the procedural manual, and then we expect organizations to be adaptive and resilient. We can't get there from here. You know, we just need to notice that the kind of leadership that we most need at this time is the kind of leadership that supports other people to be creative, to make good decisions, to become smarter as we go through crisis after crisis, and as the uncertainty and volatility of the environment only increases. What the current trend now to take back power as if that will solve the problem, in my awareness and what I've observed, is that it's only creating more chaos. We approach chaos by taking back control, thinking we're going to control it, and in the process we just create more chaos.